President Trump opens up a 971 million can of whoop, you know what, on Washington. President Trump has stated his intentions of downsizing the government by eliminating unnecessary agencies and employees and by trimming expenditures to more manageable levels. And if you could possibly imagine, the liberals are outraged. It appears that the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the National Endowments for the Arts and Humanities are two agencies whose funding is destined to be ended under the new budget proposal. Hollywood celebs have rallied to the cause in efforts to label Trump's proposed budget cuts as the worst-case scenario for arts groups. But here are the facts. However, defunding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is unlikely to cripple either PBS or NPR. NPR received less than 1% of its revenue from the CBPB, and PBS less than 7%, according to data from 2014 reported in the Washington Post. From the wrap, President Donald Trump made good on a long-time conservative goal in his proposed budget Thursday morning, targeting the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and National Endowments for the Arts and Humanities for complete elimination. Trump's budget would zero out the $445 million budget for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a relatively small source of funding for programming and broadcast operations on public TV stations and NPR radio stations nationwide, per the Washington Post. The budget would also eliminate the budgets for both national endowments, which stood at $148 million each in 2016, as well as $230 million for the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which supports libraries and museums. Additional cuts would affect two tourist mainstays in Washington, D.C., the Smithsonian Institute and the National Gallery of Art. Combined, the four arts organizations account for less than 0.02% of the U.S. government's $3.9 trillion budget. In 2016, the NEA allocated $47 million to 50 states and 5 jurisdictions, funding that helped to leverage $368 million from state governments to support arts organizations via more than 24,000 grants, according to the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies. In 2015, funding for the NEA was almost one-third what the U.S. budget allocated for military bands. Cutting funding for these agencies is most likely the first step in eliminating the waste across every level of the federal government, which is drastically needed. The size of the federal bureaucracy has grown commensurate with the national debt, and if America is going to slow the descent towards economic disaster, necessary sacrifices will have to be made. Public broadcasting and the arts and humanities will just have to garner support from private citizens, which is not difficult to do. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and again, thank you so much for watching.